Hello and welcome to Anime, or Anime Reactions with Asteroidia, which is what I have now decided to call the channel. If you're keeping up with the saga from the Near Automata video, I hadn't actually decided what I was going to call the YouTube channel yet at the point I was recording that. Since recording that video, I have now decided that it will be Asteroidia, since that was the name I was streaming on Twitch. It's also a genus of starfish, if you're curious. There's a reason behind that, but there's no need. No need for us to get into that right now. Anyway, today, or later today, since I've just watched Nier, and I think I need a bit of a palate cleanser after that, because I mean it was fine, but yeah, it was a little disappointing. So instead, we are going to watch, or after that, not instead, we're going to watch. And I have a note of this here because this is your standard light novel title. Ningen Fushin no Boukensha-tachi ga Sekai wo Sukuu yo desu. Yeah, my Japanese pronunciation is terrible, but there you go. Yeah, so that's what it's called. Or adventurers who don't believe in humanity will save the world. Or apparently disillusioned adventurers will save the world. I think maybe one was like an unofficial manga translation and the other one is now the official translation. But yeah, hell of a title either way. I keep having to stop myself because I keep wanting to describe this as the latest isekai trash, but it's not isekai, right? This is part of the trend we've been seeing relatively recently, where all of the, I don't know, I'm not sure, because the anime adaptations are always a little bit behind where the light novel scene is at any given point, but it kind of feels like we're transitioning into actually having fantasy shows again that are just fantasy shows and don't have to be isekai, because, you know, the big thing about half the isekai shows that have come out in the last 5, God, maybe even 10 years is that, like, most of them don't need to be isekai. Like, there's no need for these things to include a person from another world. They could just be fantasy shows because the isekai element is like totally redundant. But anyway, that's like a whole argument we could get into. So this show, I have heard some interesting things. I mean, I don't know anything about it, but I have heard some people say that the source material, which I'm not even sure what it is actually. I mean, with the title, it's got to be a light novel, but I'm not sure if there's a manga as well. I don't know. But I have heard rumblings that this is supposed to be good, or at least okay. So I figure we'll watch it. On that subject of what I am going to watch, I'm going to try and I'm not going to watch everything this season, because I think that would be like, I'm not sure I have enough hours in the day to record and edit all those videos. And there are some sequels to things that I haven't watched, where obviously I would have to watch the season 1 first. There's a new Danmachi out, but that's like the second half of a 4th season, and I don't think I watched the first half of it. So in fact, I may not have watched the second half of the 3rd season, but yeah, there's some sequels, but I'm going to try and watch a lot of the interesting originals, so watch this space. There will be more coming out. Anyway, yeah. For now, I'm going to watch this. I know nothing about it, other than what the title implies. Hopefully it's not, I'm not a big Shield Hero fan. Hopefully it doesn't go quite in that direction. I don't think it, again, I haven't heard much about it, but I don't think it goes in that direction, but we'll see. So yeah. We're just going to go into it. This is a timer-based reaction, so there will be no footage in the video apart from a little sliver at the bottom for syncing reasons. So you will need your own copy, but I'll give you a 3, 2, 1 countdown. Then I will start mine, and you will see all the timer come up below. So yeah, on your marks, we're going to go 3, 2, 1, go. Labyrinth City. Is that not literally what the city's called in Danmachi? In fact, I think I've read at least at least 1 other manga that has the same premise, or at least the same setting. 「 Labyrinth City」 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 「 Labyrinth Okay. So he's been thrown out of his adventuring party. And dumped by his girlfriend. Okay, here we go. What? Okay. That did not go in the direction. Okay, straight into the OP. Okay, cool. So we've got a fantasy universe, but we've got idols as well. So like with futuristic elements, I don't know. I hope it's not too video gamey, because that always annoys me in these kind of light novel fantasy things where it's like overly video gamey for no reason. Like basically where it is an isekai, but without the other world thing. Like it's built like an isekai, like you've fallen into a video game world, even though there's no reason for it to be like that. Danmachi does that a bit actually, although not so much in the later parts of that. And I know generic light novel fantasy is kind of a thing, and Danmachi is part of this, but okay, the idol stuff is really throwing me. But other than that, a lot of this looks like a lot like Danmachi. Something about the character designs. I wonder if it's the same. It's not the same light novel author, maybe. Don't know. Or it could be a different author and the same illustrator. That might be it. Interesting. What? Where's the idol stuff coming from? Okay. And has presumably spent all his money. Yeah. He was the whale. Oh, okay. You don't think like an adventurer. Okay, I'm assuming it's like a sort of spread your wings and fly the nest sort of situation where he's trying to throw him out for his own good. Because the reasoning there seemed weird. Is it his idol? Yeah, it's the idol. Is that not who you were just looking at on stage? Or oh, right. Yeah, okay. We've gone back in time, I think. Mr. Stray Dog. Okay. That time switch there was a bit weird, but okay. I like we've got the very medieval tavern and all the modern idol stuff. Okay. Agate. Okay. You know, I was thinking I should get a notepad and make notes for shows I'm watching. I kind of assumed that this probably wouldn't need that, to be honest. Ah, he's developed a complex. That's a very traditional looking wizard there. Kind of feels like you're taking this a little too personally, but okay. Mole pig offal. Sounds delicious. Is it a dragon girl? Oh no, it's a guy. Okay. And she has a really huge hat, which is always a sign of magical ability. That hat is ridiculous. Okay, my guess is that she just looks really fierce, but that puts everyone off, and that's her problem. Okay, the priest has been executed for excommunicated for drinking. Oh wait, no. Okay, it was a dragon girl. I should have expected that. It's just when it cut to the priest, I thought he had the dragon tail. So what, does she get fantasy racism or like? I've heard some Konosuba parallels for this, I think. So I assume it's something stupider than that. It's a very large sword as well. I quite like the purple highlights in the eyes are kind of cool. That's slightly disturbing. Okay, we've got our bonding moment between the four. Little coincidental, but okay. Okay, are we gonna now get introduced to everyone one by one? So she's got the Ojo Sama thing. Maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she's got the is really nice and kind, but looks sinister thing going on. That's her thing. Just taking up like the hat rack space for everyone else who comes into the building. No one else can store a hat. That is a ridiculous. I can't get over the hat. I'm sorry. Oh, is she like? Did she fall out of an Otome game? Is a guy where she's been made out to be the school villain? I'm not sure if I missed this, but I didn't catch who he was to her. Assuming like fiance or something. There we go. And he's ditched her for this new girl. Okay, this is like an Otome game setup. Okay, right. So she's got like that background. And has she been expelled for this cheating thing as well? I guess so. Yeah. Okay. There she goes. Yeah, there's the butterflies again. And she's got to strike out on her own. Is she not still from a really rich family though? Yeah. Maybe it was more just prodigious talent. Yeah, she is a noble. Okay, so she's too high class to get in with anyone at entry level, but chance to be. Okay, right. So she's losing all her money on some kind of dragon racing. Oh. Oh, right. So she won and then. Yeah, okay. She's like a compulsive gambler. I say again, are you not also a noble? Yeah. Okay, so she's also got the meaner than she looks thing. She's kind of got a mix of traits going on there. And now we're cycling back to this scene. Cool, cool. So we're going to get all of these? Maybe got time. God of Divine Inspiration Meddler. Not spelled that way, but yeah. I'm not sure where this is going. Okay, this is going where I thought it was going. Uh, sure, we want to go here with the priest character, but uh, good for him, I suppose. Oh, is she now going to screw him over in some way? Congratulated him on. Oh, okay. Oh, right, okay. So I assume. Yeah, okay. So this has gone in kind of a shield hero direction in the end. He should have kept the beard. It's an unusual look for an anime character. Why are you crying? You did that to him. Or does he still have the beard in the present day? Oh, right. Okay. Is she married and is he about to be driven out by the husband? This is tonally kind of weird. I'm going to talk about that afterwards, though. This is really weird tonally. Like, I don't know quite what I'm watching. So I assume those character designs are too distinct. They're going to come up eventually. Ah, so he's become kind of a Casanova priest. And the Dragon Girl. Or are we not going to get her backstory yet? Yeah, probably not. Depending. If it skips an OP, maybe, but. That was a fun transition. Oh, is this a dream sequence? Yeah, okay. Or did this really happen? I don't know. Oh, it could be both, though. I'm not sure. That's fun. And then he wakes up in the room with all of them, and the party is formed. Yeah, the purple highlights in the eyes are really interesting. Yeah, because she's got them as well. I mean, yeah, you're all looking for a party, so you would assume that this would be the obvious. Yeah. I'm not entirely convinced this needs like an uplifting speech. This does seem like the obvious solution, but okay. Character designs are pretty cool. I do wish the priest kept the beard, though. Why not? How. Yeah, what an incredibly left field suggestion that was. Okay. Uh, yeah, that was an anime. Yeah, yeah. May have noted a slight lack of enthusiasm through that one. That was it was weird, right? So the tone was strange. I mentioned a little bit into it that I had heard some Konosuba kind of comparisons, and it's possible that was coloring my views slightly. But even then, the tone was weird because, like, going into it thinking, right, Konosuba, okay, you expect it to be really, like, really funny, like an out and out comedy, but it kind of wasn't, and I just, but it kind of wasn't. But then it opened with that like fantasy getting thrown out the party sequence into the idol thing, which was just like totally wacky. And I was like, and when the idol thing came up, I'm like, oh right, okay, Konosuba, we're gonna do full comedy. But then it kind of looked back into kind of taking itself seriously, and then kind of veered off that again, and then went back onto that, and then like, yeah, that was weird. Like the priest's entire backstory wasn't funny at all. Like it was kind of almost like a serious dramatic moment, but like not good. But like kind of done in the most generic way possible. I did like his character design was good when he had the beard. I mean, I may be slightly biased, but I think his character design was way better when he had the beard. Um, Character designs are pretty cool. I quite like the main character. His kind of armor set. I assume he's some kind of rogue. His armor set is pretty cool. And the mage with the giant hat, like that's a cool character design as well. I like her thing. Yeah. Also, her backstory confused me slightly because I again, it's the Konosuba thing, right? She turned up and then she had that thing where she like did that look at the guy who came up to her and scared him off. I'm like, okay, I know what her deal is. Her deal is that she's actually really nice and pleasant, but she looks aggressive and terrifying and keeps scaring people off. And I'm like, okay, I get that. That's the comedy setup here. But again, focus. There we go. But again, then it kind of wasn't like it was. It was some kind of. It was like an Otome game show set up where she was set up as the school villainess, and then the commoner love interest stole her fiance. Yeah, it's like an Otome. It is an Otome game setup. I mean, maybe they'll do more with that later, although it seems like she's kind of out of that. Like, there's a bit of distance between the school and where she ended up. So, like, maybe it was just like a one-off reference. I also feel like that first episode, just having them all like show up in the bar and then meet. Again, I don't want to keep harping on about the Konosuba thing, but one of the really good things about Konosuba is that it doesn't just like, you've got the first, I can't remember exactly how the setup goes in terms of how long it takes, but you've got some time with Kazuma and Aqua before you get Darkness and or is it Megaman then Darkness? I can't remember which way around it is, but there's a kind of sequential thing where they get the party together and then they move on from there, and it all feels quite organic. Whereas this, it's like they all just happen to sit at the same table at the same time. Like, there's no reason for them all to be in the same bar, which is just weird. Like, I don't, yeah, that was strange. Well, I mean, it wasn't strange. It was just convoluted and kind of lazy. And I can just, it's just when you can so easily picture a way that would have been better. Like, if it was more like Konosuba, you know, not even in terms of the comedy, just in terms of the actual like structure there, that would have been better. And then that bit at the end as well, where they all wake up in the same room, but then they all leave, in spite of the fact that they were all clearly looking for an adventuring party. And then he has to give the rousing speech about how they should stick together. And it's like, yeah, you should, but like that feels really obvious. That doesn't feel like something you need to make a kind of giant rallying cry for. Yeah. Ugh. Okay, well, as far as I hate rating things in a numerical system. It bothers me because the numbers are so arbitrary. Like, even if you go out of 5, it's still like the difference between like a 3 and a 4 is like weird, and like how. Anyway, but I'd rather just go. I always rather just go in like a thumbs up, thumbs down, or meh kind of thing if I'm very neutral on something. That first episode, probably a thumbs down. If I wasn't doing this, I might not watch any more of it. But I think I'll go 3 episode rule on it, right? So for the uninitiated, although I'm fairly sure anyone who's actually watched this far into this video is probably a major anime fan, but like 3 episode rule is just, if you're trying out something new, give it 3 episodes to get going before you drop it if you don't like it, because there are a lot of shows where, well, debatably there are shows where they don't really get going into the 3rd episode, but I have always wondered how true that actually is. Yeah, that was very generic, not hugely interesting, a bit kind of convoluted. That, I mean, the next episode might be better, because it might be that this is just like, either it skipped a load of stuff to just get to the point where the main group is together, from the source material, I mean. Or the source material, like the light novel author, wanted to skip all the boring stuff and get to the character interactions, so just like breeze through it like at a massive pace. And it might be that once the kind of base level setup is there, then it'll, you know, kind of be better from that point on. But yeah, a rough first episode on that one. I'm not going to lie. But we'll give it 2 more. If it's still kind of boring by episode 3, then maybe we won't continue it. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Wasn't an awful lot to say about that one, to be perfectly honest. I think I might have been kind of quiet through the end of that one, but it's just like, yeah, it is what it is. It's yeah. That was Ningen Fushin. Adventurers who don't believe in humanity will save the world. I've been Asteroidia. This has been Anime. I will see you in the next video.